This might be the realest hot mess podcast of all time, but here we go. That's what it's all about. Welcome back to A Little Bit Unglamorous. I'm your host, Erica Renee, and you are hearing this on Wednesday. It is currently a Tuesday. We are going to film this, edit it, and get it up all within the next few hours, so it's definitely up to date, but life has been absolutely chaotic lately. I have not had any time to get this even the slightest put together. So in my mind, I wanted to have like the most amazing birthday podcast, like have a little decoration in the background. But that's not going to happen today. That's fine. Sometimes things don't always go as planned. Life lesson number 1. And the cherry on top is things always go wrong when you're in a rush, when you really need everything to go correctly. I feel like I've had technical issues. I have a ring light, but Lord knows where the charger is. So it's just like, so chaotic. What else could go wrong today? I'm going to be honest, it hasn't been the most thrilling week for me, but every day I keep telling myself the next day is going to get better, and it has to get better now because my birthday is in 2 days and it's supposed to be the best day ever. That's the rule. I stand by that. I feel like I have so much to get done. I don't even have nails on. I don't know who I am without nails. If you know me, I've been doing my own nails now for maybe, I don't even know, 4 years, so long, and the only positive is I can type super fast. But I had this idea that I wanted to do these super special birthday nails. I feel like everything is an occasion for me. Everything has to be, I always want everything to be perfect. So I'm determined to have May end on a high note. I have 2 days to turn it around. And my favorite thing to do when I'm feeling down and out, when I'm feeling sad, when I'm feeling upset, is to buy myself some presents. So I'm going to show you some of my birthday presents that I bought myself, and I don't regret at all. So the first thing, and I've been talking about this a little bit, I have a new collection. It's Starbucks tumblers, and I kind of went a little ham recently with a few of them. This one is my new favorite. It's like a unicorn iridescent studded cup, so pretty. And I found these two. The second one is kind of like a pink iridescent with some teal on it. The straw is teal, so cute. And they're just so fun to walk around in. And honestly, when I find myself walking around with one of these, I do drink a lot more water because I have the weirdest tendency. Not even the weirdest. I bet everyone does this. All I do at work all day is drink coffee. So much coffee. And I find that when I actually have something in front of me, I end up drinking more of it, hence the coffee all day long. And since I started collecting these, I've been bringing water with me as well. And I find myself drinking a little bit more water because by the end of the day, I've been talking so much and drinking so much coffee. And then I come home, I do this. I talk my boyfriend's ear off, and then I'm wondering, why am I losing my voice? So that's my justification for my newfound hobby. And if you didn't know, there's actually Instagram accounts people have dedicated to their cup collections. Like most things, there's a niche for everything, I've learned. But it makes me feel a little bit better in justifying my collection because it's not that big. I don't have hundreds of cups, but I get a little worried because I'm kind of low on cabinet space. So, and I'm an extremely organized person typically. So I have this thing, my toxic trait is I love to be extremely organized, painfully organized, and I like it to look like I have nothing. But I love having so many things, and I don't know quite how that works. but that's me. I was obsessed with Marie Kondo on that Netflix show when it came out. She was like, Marie Kondo is a professional declutterer, if that's even a thing, and it is a thing. She made a whole Netflix series out of it, and I watched this woman declutter people's homes, and let me tell you, you will never feel better about your home and the mess in your home until you've seen a show like that. Not quite as bad as Hoarders, but oh my gosh, she would sit and reorganize piles of their things. And the one thing that she would do is she would pick something up and say, does it spark joy? So if it doesn't spark joy, get rid of it, thank it, and donate it. Get it out of your house. It's just taking up space. Cluttered space, cluttered mind. And I am a strong believer in that, especially working from home. If I don't have a clean, organized space around me, I just feel like my mind is so heavy. And all I want to do is clean everything around me. And I'm sure other people can relate. Working from home, you get distracted with wanting to do a laundry or just organizing things because you're in your own space. In another world, I would be a minimalist, but unfortunately, that's never going to be me. I've tried. I'm a maximalist at heart. I love things. I frequently bring too many things into my home, and the only way I can kind of counter it is decluttering every once in a while and forcing myself to get rid of things that I no longer use, especially when you live in a small space. So on that note, let me talk about some other things that I bought myself for my birthday. All right. So another thing about me is I am a huge Padres fan. I'm here in San Diego. I love going to the baseball games. They are so much fun. Singing the seventh inning stretch is my favorite thing to do. I love going to the ballpark. If you have never been to Petco Park, it's a fairly large stadium in downtown. It's beautiful. They have restaurants there. It is really a fun time, and they have so many bars around it since it's in the downtown area. And since I am living in San Diego, I love to rep my city. That is my favorite thing to do. And it's really funny because growing up, I used to think it was so tacky to wear merchandise from where you're from, and now I can't get enough of it, and it's so ridiculous. It's just an example of how things change for you as you get older. But so I picked up a series of hats because when I like something, I need multiples of it, and that's just another thing. So this first hat, for my audio only, I'll describe it to you. It is a new design that I believe came out last year, and I saw it for the first time when I went to the ballpark with my boyfriend, and I believe it was designed by a Chicano artist, and the team recently wore these jerseys, I believe on Mother's Day, and they're so fun. They're like a bright teal and a hot pink, and they're really fun. And I saw a jersey at the stadium and I wanted it so bad, and I told my boyfriend I want to go and buy one of those, and I believe they just came out. Tell me why official jerseys are so expensive. I think a jersey is something like $250, and that's obscene. I know I spend money on things that are so ridiculous, but $250, even I would not let myself do that. And even the replica ones are about $80, which is crazy. But I thought this design was so fun. The hats are a little more affordable, so I treated myself to that, and I do want to go to a Padres game before the season is over, so I figured I'll get some use out of it. And I think this next one is kind of a variation on the same hat. Under the bill is teal, and the rest of it is hot pink, and I thought that would look so fun. I'm just imagining my nails the same color. And then I saw this one, and it's like a camo colored. I just thought it was perfect for casual wear and rep in the military, so I thought those were fun. And Another thing that I love to do on my birthday is I like to have a special outfit that makes me feel good. If you know me, and I've preached this over and over again, I think in this podcast probably at least a few times, is you look good, you feel good, and for me it's so true. If I am feeling really lousy and I get up in the morning and I put on a full face of makeup, I get ready, I'm wearing an outfit I like, I feel 10 times better than I did before, and I put myself in the mindset of it's going to be a great day, and 9 times out of 10 it is. Not every time, but most of the time it actually does work. If you look the part, if you act the part, eventually you become that, and I think that is so true, especially in manifesting the things that you want. Our power, our thoughts are so important. And I read a quote the other day, and it had a lot to do about stress, since I felt like kind of all over the place lately. And the quote said, the biggest ability, and I'm going to butcher this so terribly, but it said something to the veil of the biggest way to prevent being stressed is the ability to force your mind to think about other positive thoughts and not dwell on the things that you're upset about. And that's easier said than done, right? But our thoughts have so much power. And when that doesn't work, you can always buy yourself stuff like me. So with that being said, I went on my lunch break today and walked around the mall. I was really proud of myself because I was super efficient and I got everything done in about an hour. And so I have the day free on my birthday. So I picked up this really cute set. We're going Canadian tuxedo. It is from Guess, and these are just typical shorts, but they have these really cute rhinestones running down the sides, and they had a matching crop jean jacket, and I thought it was so cute. They were both on sale. The pickings were kind of slim, I'm not gonna lie, but I thought it was so fun to wear, especially during the day. And I know I have 5 million jean jackets probably, but we're adding another one. I can't resist a set. So originally for my birthday, I didn't have any solid plans. I usually am very thoughtful with the things that I am setting up and planning, but everything has been all over the place. I haven't even texted my friends for any sort of get together. I've kind of mentioned things here and there to them, and I'll usually say, hey, can you set aside this time for me? I have no idea what we're doing yet, but just set aside this date and this time. So if you're listening, set aside that date and time for me. Still don't know what I'm doing, but hopefully I will figure it out soon. So my boyfriend has never been to Disneyland, and as a California native, I grew up going there. It's a magical experience for every Californian that I know, and people come from all over the world, all over the United States, spend thousands of dollars just to experience Disneyland. People are Disney obsessed. I've never been a Disney obsessed person, but I've always felt very grateful that it's only an hour or two away from me at most my whole life, and I've been a handful of times. And fun fact, in California, if you are not from here, when you graduate high school, they actually have a grad night at Disneyland. And what that is you have your graduation ceremony, and then directly after the ceremony, they have these big buses waiting, and everybody just piles onto the buses, and it takes you straight to Disneyland. And Disneyland opens its doors basically it shuts down for the general public and then opens its doors all night long. I can't remember until when. I'm pretty sure it was around 4 a.m. And they've been doing this for years and years and years, because I remember to this day, and I am so meticulous, I can't even believe that I remember this, but I was just telling my boyfriend the other day, I went when I graduated, and they had these special grad night sweaters And the thing about Disneyland is every store that they have sells different things. And I wanted this one specific sweater design that they had that had the year, and it said grad night, and they only sell those for that occasion, and I couldn't find it, and I was so upset. But grad night is so fun. They have some of the rides going. I think they had most of them going, if I remember correctly. And then they turn all of the little common areas into clubs. And I remember being so exhausted and just sitting on a bench ready to go. I've always kind of been, I've never really been a night owl, but especially staying up until 4 a.m, I was exhausted. So I told my boyfriend that we have to go to Disneyland. He has to experience it for the first time. And he is the worst at keeping any sort of fun secret. Like non-serious ones. So for my birthday, for example, he's been asking me for days if I want my present, and I said, no, I don't want my present yet. I want to open it on the day and feel special. And then 20 minutes later, he'll be like, do you want to open your present yet? No. But so the other day he asked me, he's like, oh, I have a question for you. It's going to ruin the surprise, kind of, but would you rather go to Disneyland or California Adventure? So he was going to take us for my birthday, which is so sweet. And I remember back in the day, they actually used to back in the day, not like it was forever ago, but they used to let you in for free on your birthday. And I think they stopped that probably 5 or 6 years ago now, maybe even longer. And actually, I think they got rid of the annual passes too. I never did that, but I had friends that did. But so unfortunately, Disney was not available on my actual birthday, so we opted to wait and do something else. But I thought that was so sweet, and especially since I feel like I'd have a little bit more of a fun time, but he wanted to take me because he knew it would make me really happy to go with him for his first time there. And I think he would have fun, honestly. Who doesn't love Disneyland? Everyone loves Disneyland. Even talking about Disneyland puts me in a better mood and makes me feel so much more excited. Going right into pop culture, because I have been dying to talk about this, and we're going to talk about my queen, Taylor Swift. And she recently had a concert in Nashville. She's been touring all around the US right now, and I'm sure you all know this. Everyone knows this. It's the most sought out concert in a really long time. People are standing outside of the venues, hundreds of people, just to get a glimpse of what it would be like to hear her live. And I saw somebody comparing it to when the Beatles toured. People would pass out and be crying that they met them, and now we look back and think, wow, that is so insane. That's gonna be what it's like in the future, looking back at these concerts. It's so insane, the excitement and people dressing up. Fans are making the bracelets, and I want to do all that too. I want to be a part of it. So Taylor Swift recently had a concert in Nashville. If you don't follow, the concert was delayed because of severe thunderstorms. It was raining, it was thundering. There was actually a shelter-in-place order, and Taylor Swift did not cancel the concert. She even put out on her social media, we're ready to perform. A little rain doesn't bother us. She delayed her show for 4 hours, went on, performed the full set in the pouring rain until 2 a.m, and did not cut a single song for her fans. And my first reaction to that was, this is why everyone loves Taylor Swift. She realizes how difficult it was for everybody to get these tickets, how badly they wanted to see her, and that she absolutely could not reschedule this. And I have a lot of respect for that. The second thought I had was, I saw a lot of TikToks of people that were actually at the venue, and they had to wait for 4 hours for this thing to start. So basically, people were already, I believe, in their seats, or at least outside of the venue, and the shelter-in-place orders went into effect, and they basically had to evacuate, get out. People were stuffed in the hallways, just shoulder to shoulder, like sardines, for hours. People were upset. People were acting all sorts of crazy, which I cannot blame them, but that is a major liability, a major hazard to everyone's safety. I don't think that's necessarily Taylor's fault, but the stadium's fault. They should have handled that a little bit better. And if I was there, I mean, I don't know. If I would have flown and paid so much money, obviously I would have wanted to see her in concert, but standing for 4 hours in the pouring rain, being soaking wet, I think that would have definitely soured my experience a little bit. Second thing, Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy. We're going to talk about it. At first I did not want to talk about this because I don't want to put my girl out there on blast, but you know I love pop culture and I find all this fascinating because I love Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift had been dating her boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, for like 6 years, something crazy. And it recently was rumored that they broke up. And now she's been hanging out with this other guy. His name is Maddie Healy, I believe. He is from a band called the 1975, and I personally don't listen to them. I know they have been pretty big in recent years. I did kind of do a quick Google search of him. I just know that he is Taylor's age. He's around 33, 34. Young guy. When I was in line for Record Store Day, I know that their band had a live symphony version of their album as part of Record Store Day, and I briefly looked up some of their music, and I actually did think it was really good music to listen to, say, good background music. I did not mean to shade him like that. It's not bad. But anyway, I'm not familiar with the band, not familiar with the guy, but fans are outraged. And this goes back to the whole Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber thing that I was talking about a few episodes prior, how fans get so obsessed. Fans get so obsessed with someone, and when they're in a couple, they get obsessed with seeing them together, and they even coin these names for them. Their fandom is rooting for them, and then they break up. Life happens, and they cannot let it go. They can't let their celebrity that they have idolized move on. And I just think that there is a level of being a fan, and then a level of being too invested. Fans are upset that she's dating this grungy guy. Look, I'm sure you've dated some dirty, grungy guys, and you haven't had to do it in the spotlight with the whole world looking at you. I'm sure you've had a dirty rebound that you are not proud of. If you were walking down the street and you saw this guy, you would never admit that you even knew him. So you need to cut my girl Taylor some slack. Let her live. She just got out of a 6-year relationship with some crusty guy. Yeah, I said it. Sorry about it. I was never the biggest Joe Alwyn fan. Granted, we don't know these people. This is just all speculation, and it's fun to add some commentary, but at the end of the day, people are going too hard on this relationship of two people that they did not even know at all. And apparently it's rumored that Joe cheated on her anyway, so I can't blame her that she wants to take the narrative back. And I'm pretty sure that they broke up way before her album came out, and I don't blame her for not wanting that to overshadow all of this hard work that she put into her craft. And now things are coming out that it's not exactly amicable, and I don't really blame her for just wanting to live her life and have some fun. And unfortunately, she has the whole world watching her while she does it, and I can't even imagine having all of my relationships on blast like that. There is an interview or a quote, because I follow so many Taylor Swift accounts, and I thought it was funny because Speak Now was just announced. It's coming out July 7th? July 9th? Something like that. It's coming out in July, and so this album was famous for, I believe a lot of the songs are about John Mayer. And I saw a funny meme that basically said Jake Gyllenhaal sighing relief and passing the baton to John Mayer for this roast album. And they publicly asked Taylor Lautner, who was one of the Twilight stars, who famously dated Taylor Swift for a little bit, Taylor and Taylor. They were in the movie, who remembers the movie Valentine's Day? That was forever ago, but Taylor Swift made a cameo and Taylor Lautner was in it, and I remember she had this giant teddy bear, and her whole spiel was being the ridiculous, overly giddy girlfriend that loved Valentine's Day. And Taylor Lautner was also famously on stage when Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift's speech and said, "I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the best album of all time." I think since then he came out saying that at the time when he was standing there, he thought it was all a joke, which all of us did watching that, but I digress. So looping back, the media asked Taylor Lautner what he thought of the album and if he was worried, and he said something like, "No, I think I'm fine. I don't have anything to worry about, but my thoughts are with John Mayer." And I thought that was so hilarious. This is why we love Taylor Lautner. I always wondered if Champagne Problems was about him. And there's a line in the song that says, "Sometimes you don't know the answer until someone's on their knees." Was it Taylor Lautner? Did he propose to her and she said no? There's so many lyrics that people just let slide, and with all the little things that the fandom tries to figure out, I want to know. You know, Taylor Swift writes songs based off of her life, and now looking at Midnights as a whole, the album makes so much more sense. All of the songs are sad. All of the songs pretty much about breakups, about stepping back into the limelight. I'm still bejeweled. A lot of the songs are about feeling like something is going wrong but not being able to put your finger on it. It just makes so much more sense if you think about it. Anyway, let my girl Taylor live. It's a phase. I don't know a lot about this Matty Healy. Apparently he's somewhat controversial. That's all I'll say about that. Another celebrity that I grew up with that's near and dear to my heart is Britney Spears, and she's been in the news a lot lately. I talked about her a bit, I believe, the last episode. Everybody knows she recently just got out of this conservatorship, and she has been in the news for a lot of stuff, really, but most notably her memoir that's supposedly coming out and has now been delayed because all of the celebrities that are worried about what she's going to say. And I follow Britney Spears on Instagram. I read all of her chaotic captions, and she just throws it out there. She does not care. She'll drag her family. She'll drag all the people that did her wrong, and I cannot blame her. Honestly, she's been through a lot, and I think it's interesting. Supposedly, one of the people that's very worried about this memoir is Justin Timberlake because of what she's going to say about him. And can you blame him? I mean, I remember when they broke, that was my era of celebrity couples that I love. That was like Justin and Brittany, they were the ones. Love doesn't exist, that they're not together. That was my Justin and Selena. I loved them. I wanted them to end up together so bad, and in my mind, I thought eventually they would get back together. Now I know that's never going to happen. The public is also pretty upset at Justin Timberlake because of how he treated Britney Spears after they broke up. He went on Howard Stern and all of these talk shows, basically being very inappropriate and talking about how they had sex. And back then, Britney Spears was very popular for saying that she was going to save her virginity for marriage, and so it became this like very strange thing on a pedestal for her whole career. Justin Timberlake had these interviews that didn't sit well with a lot of people, and I know on shows like Howard Stern, you're asked things purposely to make you very uncomfortable, especially back then. He was very inappropriate. However, these people are media trained. I mean, if you're in the spotlight, if you're as big as Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake back in the 2000s, you best believe they had a media trainer teaching them responses to say to questions that they were not supposed to answer or didn't want to answer. And that didn't sit well with me. I know another celebrity that handles himself so well is Harry Styles. He has been asked tons of inappropriate questions, and he just has this way of negating the question and remaining respectful, and that's really something that was not really done in the 2000s. The media loved the drama, and this was way before the Me Too movement and all these people started coming out. And Justin Timberlake also was very publicly, he performed in the Super Bowl halftime show with Janet Jackson. And I remember this because I was watching it live and they were doing the performance, and to this day, I'm pretty sure it was planned. They deemed it, or they tried to backtrack and say that there's a wardrobe malfunction. So basically, they're singing, they're dancing, and Justin Timberlake puts his hand on her outfit, like this little corset thing, and rips off like the patch that's covering her boob, and she had a nipple jewelry conveniently with that wardrobe malfunction. Anyway, the public was outraged, obviously, because the Super Bowl is live. You cannot censor that. So the cameras started freaking out, panned away, and then Justin Timberlake tried to pin it all on Janet Jackson. He just put his hands up and was like, I don't know, I didn't have anything to do with it, but he did. And so that's my beef with Justin Timberlake. He should be worried for this memoir. I remember when they broke up, all of the interviewers were asking Britney, what did you do to him? Like, what the hell? The 2000s were a wild time. Speaking of the 2000s, there's a sequel coming out that I'm kind of excited about. It is Freaky Friday 2, has been officially confirmed with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. And you know, I have been so obsessed with Lindsay Lohan's comeback. She hasn't been in movies for quite a while now. She's also struggled very publicly. The 2000s were also not nice to Lindsay Lohan. They scrutinized her. They ridiculed her when she was going on talk shows. They very publicly asked her about her addiction and made jokes about it, and they just treated her awful. And you could see how hurt she was in her eyes in these interviews, and eventually she was so over it that she just moved to Mykonos. I mean, I wish sometimes when I'm so over it, I could just pick up and move to Mykonos. But so she recently starred in a Netflix holiday movie called I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was a Christmas movie, and it was the first movie she had done in years, and people loved it. So I'm glad to see her back on the big screen. Everyone loved Freaky Friday. That was such a staple movie, and the fact that they're gonna remake it the right way with the original characters, nothing grinds my gears more when a sequel replaces characters. It makes me so upset. And I get it, sometimes there's scheduling conflicts or the original person declines to do it and the franchise wants to keep going. But I just think it ruins the authenticity of the sequel when you replace a character and you just pretend like they're the same person. It's just so ridiculous to me. That's my little blast from the past rant. 2000s forever. I have a short week this week. I'm really excited. I'm going to have Thursday, Friday as a long weekend to celebrate my birthday. I feel like this podcast is almost like therapy because I already feel infinitely better just talking about the things that I love and being distracted from all of life's stressors. And I hope that if you are tuning in, you also get some joy out of these pop culture references because it really is so fun to recap for me, and I love getting together with like-minded people and just talking about things that are not important and just getting your mind off of life stress. And that's really what is my main goal of my whole online presence. So thank you so much for watching. I can't believe it's going to be my birthday on Thursday. If you're having a rough week, I hope this podcast is a little pick-me-up for your day. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week. I'm your host, Erica Renee, and this is A Little Bit Unglamorous. Yeah.